When I arrived at Ronald McDonald House, Randwick, in August 2017, it was the last place that I wanted to be. If it wasn't enough to have just been diagnosed with cancer 24 hours prior, I now had to sit in the car for 4 hours, trying to keep my post-op stitches in place as my parents and I drove from Canberra to Sydney. We arrived at the house on a Wednesday night, immediately greeted by the chaos of excited families and volunteers who were celebrating the evening's Mexican-themed dinner. Walking through the dining room, I remember thinking to myself, what in the world are these people laughing and smiling about? Do they not know why they're here or what they're here for? With sombreros and taco shells flying everywhere, I felt like I'd just arrived at the zoo, only I couldn't tell if I was just a visitor or the newest addition to the exhibition. In the following days, I felt more and more out of place. I didn't know where I was, who I was surrounded by, and worst of all, I didn't know when or if I would be going home. I ended up living at Ronald McDonald House I had 331 days, but apparently we've done a recount, so 349 was it? While I received countless rounds of chemotherapy and radiation at Sydney Children's Hospital. My mum and I lived in a little green room upstairs full time, and my dad travelled back and forth between our house in Canberra and our new home in Ronnie Max. People always ask me about my cancer journey and my time living at the house, simultaneously curious and in awe of how I managed to deal with the worry and stress of it all. They are always shocked to find out that it was the happiest and most peaceful time of my life. For those 349 days, I had nothing to worry about because I was surrounded by people who were doing all the worrying for me. With the support of organisations like Ronald McDonald House, who think of everything to ease the burden of illness for sick kids and their families, I only had to think about how grateful I was to be surrounded by so much love. Ronald McDonald House is more than just accommodation for sick kids and their families. It's the stocked fridges, pantries, and home-cooked meals made by generous volunteers and sponsors that you can come home to after a long day of being on the ward. It's the learning program and its teachers who help keep kids on track with their education during treatment, liaising with schools and sitting with you to work on assignments, even when your brain is too foggy to think. It's the thoughtful staff who organise a Peppa Pig birthday cake to be delivered to the house on your 16th birthday after a long day at your first IVF appointment. It's the relief of being so close to the hospital you can race up to emergency when you wake up with a temperature in the middle of the night. It's the volunteers who treat you like real human beings and make an effort to get to know the person you are outside of your diagnosis. It's the camaraderie of struggling parents who bond over the constant confrontation of each other's vulnerabilities and hardships late at night after their kids have gone to sleep. And it's the generosity of people like you who are here tonight to make sure these home away from homes are able to continue to do what they do best. The day we packed up and left Ronnie Max in July 2018, I was even more terrified than the day we arrived. I didn't know what life beyond the safety net of the house would be like, and quite honestly, I was reluctant to find out. I sobbed half the way home, petrified at the thought of having to go forward with my life without the Ronald McDonald House family by my side, holding me up and cheering me on. On behalf of my family, the families we met during our stay, and all families who have been touched by the generosity of Ronald McDonald House Sydney, thank you.